That's a great question. One that we see not just corporates but also investors grappling with. And over these years, MSCI has developed its proprietary framework called Implied Temperature Rise that actually provides a degree annotation in a climate impact type of way to put out what Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions really mean. What does the trajectory really mean? How are these emissions projected for the future? And how do they fit into an overall carbon budget? Are they really undershooting or overshooting the carbon budget? So really being able to provide to the market and going above and beyond Scope 1, 2, and 3 in absolute sense to provide the market a certain sense of understandable, intuitive, degree-aligned metric or Celsius degree-aligned metric. And with that, we've seen some very interesting examples where companies have had a range of implied temperature rise scores that really look at the different aspects. And in that assessment beyond implied temperature rise, we look at how comprehensive our targets, right? So we take targets on face value, but we also try to see where are the gaps between targets. You have companies that have great overall 2030, 2040, 2050 targets, but there are a variety of sub-targets that come into play at a product and service level. So we really get into the details and the nuances of those to understand where some of those are sufficient or insufficient in the sense of also being able to understand how comprehensive and effective they are. For areas where companies may have had missed targets, at this point we don't necessarily penalize for that. We do feel that more in sort of more accurate information about targets and target year-on-year reporting on progress for achieving those targets is critical. It's also something that investors value. When we look at an ESG rating agency, we're looking, or the entire assessment, we're looking at a couple of aspects there. The first one being how and where is a company's own assets and operations based out of? What are the governing regulations in those areas? Are the governing regulations, for example, high in terms of their standards for ESG and sustainability more broadly, or are they not really there? We also look at how, for example, some of the nuances of where the regions are or the locations are offer certain vulnerabilities or not, certain additional externalities or not. So we go into every specific company's detailed asset location, look at their operations, and look at how exposed they are. So we get into as much specifics as we can. That's a tough one to answer, but I'm going to say that I don't think we see a decrease of traction. We also don't see necessarily less focus on some. If anything else, I think from a corporate perspective, there's always going to be more to report on, more to focus on. But in a sense, we're seeing from investors and corporates alike a big request on climate and being able to support some of their requirements, be it on climate disclosures, be it on climate analysis, really being able to understand on on-demand basis where some of the gaps lie when you look at climate risk analysis, stress testing, and also in compliance with regulation. Beyond climate, we're looking at biodiversity, which is an emerging big trend, an emerging big theme, which is also likely to impact all stakeholders that we see here. And I think in addition to all of this, when we talk about social issues, when we talk about governance issues, they are concrete, they are fundamental, and they will be there to stay. And so comes back to the point about materiality, understanding as a corporate, as an investor, what are the issues? What are the risks and opportunities, for example, that are most relevant to you, that are most material to you as defined by yourself and other stakeholders, whether you're looking at financial materiality, whether you're looking at double materiality, or impact only, or really a 360 view on all of these risks and assessments. And that would dictate in many ways your landscape and journey on sustainability.